my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you sick of being normal? I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold, they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, do you take it? Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, do you take it?
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil. Channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, do you take it? Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, do you take it?
Nothing can stop me, no. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good good night. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Yeah. Susceptible night. Before the moment flies. Before it flies. So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Susceptible night. Before the moment flies.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on, Locked In Nation? Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. We are here in 2026. We've made it to another year. This is number sixth year of doing this podcast, carrying this forward. 2025, just want to say, before I even dive into anything tonight, that I'm truly grateful for everybody who has supported this podcast. I don't care if you're an OG from the very, very beginning when we started this podcast in 2020, in September of 2020, or if you are a new listener, or maybe you're somebody that came in between. Regardless, I just want to say that I appreciate the support we do here at Locked In Nation, me and the guys, Rich, Rob, Mario, all you guys. We appreciate it. And obviously, I started this podcast with George, and still in contact with him, you know what I mean? But honestly, it's been a blessing to be able, I get, like, when I get the compliments of this podcast and, I see people like actually take something from this, it means a lot to me. So thank you guys. Thank you. It was a big year of growth, in terms of a lot of personal growth episodes this year, not as many sports episodes. And that is something I love, like, that I really am trying to hone in on this podcast. And really that's kind of like our niche, with like a sprinkle of sports episodes. I love sports, but my real passion comes from personal development and personal growth. So it's something that I'm always going to want to talk about here. And it's kind of the platform that I've built. And it's weird. I do see a lot of the views that do come from the sports episodes, but I see that people get the most, it looks like, from the personal growth episodes. So guys, like, whatever you like, let me know. Personally, my passion does lie in personal growth. So it's something, but just super grateful to be here. Like I said, year 6 of the podcast. And honestly, you guys are what keeps me wanting to do this. And I have a solid team too. So ultimately, love you guys. God bless you. Happy 2026. Happy New Year's. And what better type of fitting episode than to talk about New Year's resolutions? Now, look, this isn't going to be some episode based off of, hey, like, what's my New Year's resolution? How do I do this? Or like, what is my routine? Because I'll be honest, most of y'all probably don't care about someone else's personal goals, right? Like what they're doing. But also, so I don't want to make this like all about me, but also I'm somebody who I don't like to reveal too much. So I'm reserved when it comes to that. So I kind of keep that between me and God. And yeah, I think when I first started this platform, one of the things that I used to do was that I would say me and George would talk our morning routines, our night routines, different types of things. And we kind of tweaked as we went, as we built the platform, and it just shifted in a different direction. That comes with experience of anything, though. Like when you're getting your feet wet and you're kind of building and you're growing. So ultimately, it was just super cool to kind of learn along the way. But this isn't going to be the typical New Year's resolution episode. No. This is going to be an episode basically explaining why New Year's resolutions typically fail. Because the majority of them do. I mean, let's be real. How many times have we, myself included, went and set out New Year's resolutions and you didn't hit any of your New Year's resolutions or any of your goals? They typically fizzle out. Statistics show in the first 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm going to explain to you why they fail. So, all information that I have is based off of my personal experience, but also research here. And I'm going to put my own spin on this of why I believe they firmly do fail, because they fail a lot. And it really makes sense on why they fail when you actually like hear the breakdown. And then I'm going to talk to you from personal experience of how you can get to a point where you're creating lasting change that is going to remain after the noise of like all the New Year's hype and everything settles down. And I think that's step one, is understanding that you don't need a new year to make a change. A lot of people do that. I'm going to explain. Guys, before we hop into it tonight, I just want to tell you guys that if you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button. You'll see that little notification bell in the little corner to the left. You want to hit that to turn those notifications on, because we release content every single week, either related to personal growth or sports, typically personal growth. So if you like that type of content, you don't want to miss it. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm assuming you're already part of the community, so thank you for that. Still hit that like button, really helps us with the algorithm. Hit that like button on YouTube too, it really helps us out. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube and you want to comment into the discussion tonight, genuinely appreciate that, because that really, really helps us out here. It really gives a lot of feedback. I personally love that. Comment below if you're on YouTube. I can throw your comments on the screen. If you're on Facebook, I can't throw your comments on the screen due to meta privacy concerns, but I can read them out loud. And I have Facebook over here and YouTube. I can see them as they come through. And with that being said, guys, it's 2026. I don't have any catchy catchphrase yet for 2026. Bear with me. But 2026, let's lock in. All glory to God. So, all right, guys. New Year's resolutions. This time of year. This is the time of year, right? What's that famous saying, right? New year, new me. Man, that is. I hear that every single year. Like, not a year goes by that I don't hear that. I heard it this year, but I just hear it every single year. New year, new me. Here's the thing. I'm not bashing change. Change is great. We want to make changes in our life, and we have to adapt, because if we stay in the same position in all of our life, right, we're not really moving towards anything. And as a believer in Jesus Christ, I don't believe that we're destined to stay stagnant for our lives. Being stagnant can happen in any area. It could be your career, your business, your finances, the connections that you build. You stay in your bubble. Your family, your health. We get caught in negative habits, right? Just in life in general, as we grow older, we tend to grow wiser majority of the time. Like, we learn things. It's all about what do we take from that, right? Because there's positive experiences in our life, but then there's negative ones. But the negative ones you take lessons from. So how are we using the information from the experiences that we've gone through to adapt in life, right? So that's change. Change is a good thing if you're making positive changes to grow and to better yourself. We can all better ourselves. There's not one human being on this planet that is perfect. I don't care how wise you are. Nobody has it all figured out. So where you may have knowledge in one area, someone else might have knowledge in another area that you don't have knowledge in. So it's like, that's what it is. All that to say, change is a good thing. It's a really good thing. The problem is, majority of people like to set these changes around the new year. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to start a new year fresh, but people will have these resolutions for 2 months. They can set them in October. They have them ready to go. January 1st, I'm going to hit this. Well, let me ask you the question is, why does it take till January 1st for you to start? Because the majority of people that I see make changes, they don't start on January 1st. Those aren't the ones that last. The ones that last could start in June or May in the middle of a weekday, or, one day people just wake up and they're like, I'm sick and tired of being tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they want to make a change. A lot of times we go into the new year, right? We drink, we smoke, We come completely intoxicated coming into the new year on New Year's Eve, and we just think we're going to flip the switch. And that is just not how it works. As you're prepping mentally, right? Physically and mentally to accomplish the goals that you're setting out towards, how are you preparing? Like, because majority of people, they write goals down or they put them in their mind, but they don't actually have a plan of action of how they're going to achieve those goals. So when you come into a new year with no plan, you just know what you want to do. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work. What I would say is, so from research that I see too, so that's my own personal spin, but research says the reason why, like I said, 2 to 4 weeks is typically the failure point of most New Year's resolutions coming into the new year. Now, a lot of them are unrealistic or vague goals. There's a lack of planning. There's no actual clear steps or milestones. What happens when obstacles arise? How do we overcome them? How do we move past them? An all or nothing mindset, which is the wrong attitude, because missing one day of progress can make you completely sabotage yourself. It's not the right thing to do. It's not healthy. So you have to understand that as a human, we are flawed. We all make mistakes. We're going to fail. We're going to slip up. That's just natural. I don't care how obsessed you are. There's going to be times where you fail. So you have to understand that. You have to have grace for yourself. You may slip up many times. Guess what? It's all about getting back up and staying consistent. A lot of it, this is a big one, overly ambitious targets. You really are overestimating how much you can really do. And I couldn't say that more. What's the word I'm looking for here? I couldn't say that more confidently, because I am someone who did this a lot, and I still do sometimes. I overestimate how much I can accomplish in a day, in a week, in a month. And the problem with that is, the reason I do, a lot of times I used to do this, I wasn't accounting for obstacles. I wasn't accounting for my own procrastination, because I would procrastinate. So I wasn't being real with myself. I am somebody who can accomplish a lot of goals, but also I do procrastinate. I did tend to procrastinate. I'm a lot better with it now, but I did tend to procrastinate a lot as someone who struggled with ADHD growing up. My focus, I would overestimate my abilities. So overly ambitious targets, we have to be realistic with ourselves. There's no why. That's a huge one. What is our why? What is our vision? So say you want to lose weight, you want to get healthier. Why? Maybe it's you want to be in better shape to be able to enjoy life with your kids, with your wife. I'm just talking from a man's perspective. Maybe it's you want to enjoy life with your family. Maybe it's you're just tired of going to the hospital all the time. You're tired of being sick. And maybe you're tired of carrying around a bunch of weight. Maybe why do you want to, I want to make more money. Why? I want to provide a stable life for my family. I want to purchase my first investment property. I want to, what's your why behind it? Maybe you want to start a podcast. Why? I want to help other people. I want to use my voice, right? Just these things are there needs to be a vision. There needs to be a why, because that is what is going to carry you on the days when your motivation isn't there. David Goggins says this. I was actually just talking to somebody about this last night, ironically. My guy, Brian, if you're watching, we were talking about this last night. David Goggins says, motivation is bullshit because it comes and goes. Motivation's great. Like the days you wake up and you kind of I have my, sorry, let me silence my phone. Let me silence my phone, guys. Sorry about that. It comes and goes. Motivation is great on the days where you feel motivated, you feel great. But I'm going to say majority of the time, you're not going to be motivated. I've said this so many times on this podcast. Discipline is what carries. I had actually a buddy in the summer who is starting on his gym journey, and he said, motivation is the way, motivation is the key, motivation is the key. And I was not hating. I was so happy that he was making changes. But I was like, brother, you just have to remember that motivation, it's great when you're motivated when you're starting, but discipline is what's key. And unfortunately, he fell off. And, I'm hoping he gets back on it. But that's the thing. Motivation is really not the key. Discipline is the key. That's what's going to carry you on the days when you don't want to be motivated. When you're not motivated, when the sun's not shining, life's not going well, everything's not in your favor. Are you going to show up to the gym on those days? Are you going to show up to work on your business? Are you going to put the extra hours in after work? Are you going to spend more time with your family? Are you going to do the things that you say you're going to do, even on the days when you don't feel like it? No accountability. A lot of times we keep our goals to ourselves, and sometimes it's good to have accountability to let other people who you trust around you. Not saying you got to go tell the world your goals, but just a couple people you trust just to stay on track with accountability. This is a big one. A lot of people focus on adding a ton of different things into their life, but they don't subtract what is draining them. They don't subtract. They don't remove the obstacles, because let's be realistic with ourselves for a second. A lot of us are I thought I silenced my phone. Us over there. A lot of us are coming into this year with things that are draining us, people who are draining us. And if we're just adding a bunch of other demands to a life where we already weren't accomplishing the goals that we were setting out towards, we're just piling on a bunch of other stuff. We have to remove things that are going to. So if your life is already busy and you're setting a bunch of goals, you have to remove what's going to be your obstacles in this matter. Like what things can you remove to create more time and space for yourself to accomplish these goals? You really have to look at that. That's important. And this is a big one too, waiting for the right time. That's what I was saying, is like using New Year's as the stalling tactic that I'm going to flip the switch when I'm ready. And like I said, it just doesn't work like that. You have to start building habits. That's how we build momentum. That is how we build momentum. So literally, it's not a flip of the switch. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work. That's why they say in 2 to 4 weeks is typically the time frame where most of these New Year's resolutions, they fail. Like, I'll use the gym as an example because we all know the gyms get packed the first month of the year. Every single year, January, the gyms are packed. I love that people really want to make a change. It's great. But everybody starts out, that's why I say motivation. Everybody starts out motivated. And then when they're not motivated anymore, a lot of people, they stop. They just stop. Waiting till like a new year to start that. Why didn't you start in October if you started to feel that way? Why didn't you start in September? Like, why do we wait until a new year to do these, to start our journeys? But waiting for the right time is a big one. So I'm going to go based off of research I found from notes I have here for how do we create lasting change? How do we change our habits, right? How long does it take to change, to make something a habit, right? They typically do say 30 days of doing something consistently. I tend to think that that's just a very vague thing. It really depends on the person's personality, and how we operate. But they use 30 days as a measuring stick. I think it can be longer for some other people. I would say shorter. 30 is probably the minimum. I would say it takes maybe 30 days of consistency, but it could be longer than that. It really, really depends. So how do we improve our chances? How do we create lasting change instead of falling off in the first 2 to 4 weeks, which I would actually say that's normal. It doesn't make you a bad person for failing. I failed at tons of New Year's resolutions. I've had years where, like, I set out my New Year's resolutions and didn't accomplish any of my New Year's resolutions. It's just, we have to be realistic with ourselves. You know what I mean? Like I said, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a failure. The most successful people in the world, they fail. They fail over and over and over again. The thing is Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we're expecting a different result. So while you could fail, don't continue to make the same mistakes. See, there's a difference there. Failing by trying and trying new things, and that's okay. It's when we start to fail over and over and over again because we're taking the same course of action. That's literally the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Nothing's going to change. So how do we create that everlasting change? The change that's going to last. Number one, this is what they say, be specific. And I agree with that. Being specific is going to, this is a part of a thing called SMART goals too. So I'll get into specific for a second. SMART goals, they stand for goals that are specific, measurable. What's the A stand for here? I'm gonna go back to the A, but the R stands for realistic. T stands for time, so we can put a time to it. I think A stands for achievable, or I'm gonna have to get back to you what the A means there. But basically, when you want to be specific, define how often you're going to do something when. Break your goals down into, so if you have a goal for a year, break it down into months, and then break it down into weeks, and then break it down into daily action. Things are going to pop up every day, but what little things can we do each day to get to the vision, to accomplish our vision, to accomplish our mission, what we're ultimately saying, the ultimate landscape. A lot of times we live for each day, and it's great to be present in your day. You should. But we don't keep our long-term vision in mind as we go about our days. So you have to understand that. You have to look at that. 2, start small. Can't stress that enough. Break your big goals into smaller, manageable actions. It's okay to dream big. I think you should. I think you should reach big. Somebody actually told me once that, like, in real estate, he runs a couple of real estate firms, that he would always overestimate what he's going to do in a year. But this is the difference with this one. What I was saying with the bad thing with like overestimating what we could do is there's a thing by Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone says 10x it. So whatever your goal, whatever you want to accomplish, 10x it. So say you want to accomplish, you have a business and you want to accomplish $1 million in sales in a year. Change that mindset to say, I'm going to accomplish $10 million in sales this year. And here's the thing, even if you don't achieve that 10 million, you're probably going to put more action in, right? To get those, to literally go after the $10 million in sales than you would have to get $1 million in sales. And guess what? You may just accomplish that million and then some, even though you didn't hit the 10 million. Guess what? What was your initial goal? It was $1 million, right? Okay. Or say you want to make, I don't know, you want to lose 10 pounds. Say you want to lose 100 pounds, and that might sound crazy, but it's going to make you go even harder. You do 10x whatever you're looking to do. And honestly, but start small, but you got to break those into small actions though. That's what I'm saying. It's good to have a big vision, but how do we get to the vision? What daily steps, what weekly steps, what monthly steps do we need to take to get to where we want to go? Break it down. Don't be vague. Be specific and start small. Focus on your progress. Don't beat yourself up so badly from the setbacks. Learn from the small wins. Literally boost yourself up. We are our biggest critics. We talk so negatively to ourselves internally. Celebrate your wins. Guys, any progress is progress. It's more than what you started with. So celebrate those small wins and understand that setbacks are coming. I'm not telling you anything different than any than any coach is going to tell you. It's literally, it's real. Create that support. Build supportive environments. Find accountability partners. Remove people who drain you that are going to hinder you from accomplishing your goals. Address your patterns. Understand your behavioral patterns too. You have to be realistic with this. We have to understand. Like I said, I was a big time procrastinator. as someone who struggled with ADHD growing up, I was a big time procrastinator, and I would overestimate my ability to not procrastinate. That takes time. You have to literally build consistency and trust yourself. That's a big thing. A lot of times we failed so many times. So what do we do internally? We think we can't trust ourselves. We can't rely on ourselves. But guess what? As someone who did fail at things many times, I started to build my own trust back in myself. It just starts with small actions. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start with the small things. Start building trust in yourself again, because that's a big thing. You have to be able to trust yourself through this. Understand your patterns, understand your behaviors, learn to trust yourself. And this is a huge one. Shift your identity. Instead of saying, I fail all the time, become the type of person who achieves your goals, who achieves goals. Become the type of person that you want to become. Like that, you have to be that person. You have to embody that person. You have to live that person. Visualize yourself as someone who accomplished all your goals for the year. What does that person look like? You know, it's huge. What does that person look like? Because if we can't envision ourselves there, how are we going to get there? You have to envision yourself there. You have to embody that. But seriously, that's literally how it starts. So that was research. What is my spin on this? How do I believe you create everlasting change? A little bit of my part was in there though. Trust yourself. You have to build trust in yourself. It's so important. And I would also say, stop waiting for a new year to make a change. Literally, like I said, the majority of people I know that make changes and have sustained them, they didn't start on January 1st. It's good to have goals to start a new year, but how are we preparing for that? Are we writing them down? Are we breaking them down into steps? Are we coming into the new year with a fresh mind, or are we coming into the new year intoxicated? Nobody's saying you can't have fun. Nobody's saying you can't do things, but I just think it is kind of comical is that how we start our year a lot of the times, right? Guilty myself. We come into the new year buzzed, drunk, high. You know what I mean? We're out there celebrating. We're enjoying New Year's Eve. But like as I've gotten older, I just do think there's irony behind it. Like we want to start our new year. Like we're gonna start the new year. Okay, I'm gonna start on January 2nd. Like it's just we don't come in with a serious intentional mindset. And that's the word I'm looking to use here is intentionality. As someone who, how do we put, like, as someone who is a Christian and, you know, working towards being a man of God and working towards these things, I am flawed like everybody else. So I know my patterns. I know the things that have hindered me from accomplishing goals in the past. And I acknowledge that, like with self-awareness, like I acknowledge those. How do I change my behavior to become the person I want to become, to be someone who accomplishes those goals, whether they're career or business goals for me, financial goals, health goals, relational goals, whatever they are. How do I mold myself? It goes deeper than my goals. How do I mold myself into the man who would accomplish those goals? And I think having a long-term vision is huge. I speak from my perspective. Is it like, hey, you know, where do I like say like, you know, you're building for retirement. Like, hey, what does future me need to be successful here financially? Um, in different areas, my health, my, you know, my finances, my career where I want to grow. I want to help people in my career. I want to build my finances to be able to be in the best shape of my life to be able to enjoy my life with my future wife and my future kids. I want to build my finances so that I can build a stable foundation for us. Like these things, you have to think about long-term vision. Like, what's your why, right? That's what we go back to, right? What was your why? You have to have a why. You have to have a vision. You have to have a mission behind what you're trying to accomplish. Because if it's just another goal, it's going to be harder to obtain it because there's no fire under you. You can't see the long term. And if you can't see the long term, It's going to be a struggle. Intentionality is so important though. Just I think sometimes you just get to a point where you're tired. You're tired of like seeing the same results all the time, like questioning why am I here? Why did I fail here? Why did I do this? Why am I making the same mistakes? And a lot of time it's like it's our own ego that gets in the way. We don't want to make changes. We don't want to, because then what we have to do? We have to face it that we failed. We have to admit that we messed up. And a lot of times people don't want to. I would say it's the most human thing in the world though. Because there is nobody out there that is perfect other than God. You tell me someone who is, because there's nobody. I'll prove you wrong. But guys, just everlasting change. What I'm telling you here tonight, it's nothing that I think should come as a surprise. Seriously. But no matter who watches this, lasting change comes with beginning to trust yourself, building momentum, building consistency, having a vision, and getting up every single day, even when you're not motivated to do it. You have to understand what your vision is. And if your vision isn't powerful enough, if it doesn't light a fire under you, it's likely not going to allow you to build consistency. So you really have to find out. Like, you have to figure that out. But guys, don't wait. Don't wait for a new year to start. If you are starting at the new year, you're here. Just give yourself grace when you fail, but make sure to get back up and stay consistent. Like, celebrate your small wins. If you have a supportive environment, utilize it. Utilize the people around you. Use people to hold you accountable. Sometimes, like, people can start journeys, and if they have a friend or say as a man, say you're married, you have a wife, like you and your wife can hold each other accountable. Or like for a woman, you and your husband or your boyfriend can hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? Your partner. These are the things that, like, in a marriage, right? We talked about marriage a couple weeks ago. You and your partner should hold each other accountable. Honestly, as a man, you want a woman who's going to hold you to your standard to be the best man that you can be. And likewise, ladies, like, you're going to want a man who's going to hold you accountable to be the best version of you. At the end of the day, we have to take the action to be the best version of ourselves. We cannot help anybody else. We cannot fix them or try to make them build healthy habits. They have to do that for themselves, but you can be a supportive presence for them. You can be a secure, stable presence for them, and you can encourage them, but you can also hold them accountable when they're messing up, right? Because we all mess up. But we need people like that in our lives. Friends too, like not just partners, but friends. We need to admit when we're fucking up. We need to hear it from people sometimes. And like I say, like, I used to be the friend who would tell friends what they wanted to hear when I was younger. Any people who know me now, they know I'm not that way. Any of my brothers out there, I'm not that way. I'm gonna call you out, and I want you to call me out too if I'm messing up. Like, I'm not gonna literally tell you what you want to hear, because I'm not being a real friend if I'm telling you what you want to hear. I'm not. And I have friends that will come to me with stuff sometimes, and they'll think I'm gonna side with them, and it's like, nah, brother, I'm not gonna side with you on this. But if I do side with them, I do. You know what I mean? But like, that's how you know it's real though. Like, it's coming from authenticity. Like, because I'm not going to just gas you up, or that's the problem too. A lot of friends or even partners, they allow their partners to get away with bad behavior and other things because, like, they allow that, right? Like, and same things with friends, right? They'll gas their friends up whether they're right or wrong. And the problem is we're not actually doing them any favors. You know what I mean? We're allowing them to avoid accountability. With your goals, you're not avoiding accountability. You're either achieving the goals or you're not. And if you didn't, okay, what was the reason? Sometimes real things get in the way, but other times, a lot of times it's excuses, right? We make excuses for ourselves of why we didn't, right? It happens so often. Seriously. Marius commented in. My brother, another Mario, you're literally like part of the team here, so I appreciate you, my brother. Mario, you can actually chime in on this too, bro. You know, I am going to call out bullshit, right? Like we're brothers. I'm gonna call out bullshit. Like if somebody's fucking up, like accountability is important, and you do the same, bro. I appreciate you for that. So he says everlasting change is tough because people struggle with adversity. Couldn't say it better myself. Could not say that better myself, my brother. Adversity is so that's the only thing that's gonna come with change, though, bro. Like you know this too. Adversity is inevitable. You are not going to change without adversity. A lot of people don't like they like the idea of change, but they don't like the different actions they need to take, the different courses of action they need to take to make that change, and how to avoid obstacles. Adversity, that's a key one, man. That's a big one. But Mario, he knows too, man. Like we keep this. We're not going to spare each other's feelings in these types of ways. You know, we have to hold each other accountable. And here's the thing: I think as men specifically, men cannot. We have talked about this a lot. Men cannot get away with being unaccountable. Like not being accountable for men is like a non-negotiable. I'm not saying women should be able to either, but I think that there's more leeway a lot of times. Any ladies you want to chime in, feel free to chime in. But I think as men, we can't get away with that as much. You know, we cannot avoid accountability. If we just are not I know people, and Mario does too. We know people who are not accountable at all. Like literally no accountability. And all you got to do is look at like the trajectory of their life. I'm not saying that they can't change their life, but there's people we've both outgrown. And it's unfortunate, but all you can do is pray for them, wish them blessings on their journey, and hope that they one day wake up to take that accountability. I don't want to surround myself with people who aren't accountable. Yeah, have you ever had like a friend, a partner, a family member, who is not taking accountability? It's draining. They never apologize. They never take accountability for their own actions. It's always someone else's fault. I cannot surround myself with those type of people. At 33, I don't have time for that. I just don't. And for a while, I did. I surrounded myself with people that did take accountability. Some people worse than others. Some people could take accountability sometimes and not others. There were some people that I knew that could not take any accountability. Like, I mean, at all. Never heard an apology when they're wrong. Nothing. Like, crazy. Doesn't make them bad people. It just means that there's not a lot of self-awareness there. You have to understand that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to mess up. The first step is acknowledging it, and then you have to move forward. But when you blame everybody else for your own shortcomings, that's a problem. And I'm not perfect. There's been times where I've blamed other situations, for my own problems too. You know what I mean? But as I get older, I just start to realize I'm like, I don't want to be around people like that. You know what I mean? If I can avoid it. Facebook. Guys, thanks for the views. Thanks for the support. Check the other Facebook. Appreciate you guys. Mario said, people hate hearing the truth. They would much rather believe sweet lies than face reality. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't grow that way. There's no growth. And that's the unfortunate part about that. There's just no growth. It's delusion. That's what it is. It's delusion. We're living in delusion that way. So we don't grow. 100%. 100%, guys. That's facts. What Mary's saying there. People don't want to hear the truth, and they also struggle with adversity. It's true. If we don't want to face adversity and we don't want to hear the truth, what does that say about the goals we're setting out to accomplish in 2026? Probably not going to last, right? It's true. So just like these New Year's resolutions, they fail in 2 to 4 weeks. Typically, there's reasons behind that. But yeah, guys, it's just about building consistency, building trust in yourself again. Sometimes we failed so long. We don't believe in ourselves anymore. We don't trust ourselves. It starts with freeing our mindset first and foremost, preparing for adversity, taking accountability, removing the obstacles, but also starting to take small wins, small courses of action so we can build momentum and start trusting ourselves again. That's what it is. That's where it starts, guys. Trust yourself, rely on yourself. So, Mario, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Adversity and hearing the truth. But I think I went through everything tonight, guys. Probably hang on for another 5 minutes or so. I don't know if I'm going to get to the full hour here tonight. I kind of moved episodes around a little bit. By the way, the calendar is out for January. We have some really good episodes coming up. I'll just walk you guys through. If you guys have any questions, whatever, and you want to comment, Facebook, YouTube, still throw them up. All right, so we're going to break down the calendar going forward. So these episodes are all going to be on Thursday. Now that we're back to the holidays are over, we're going to be back to a normal schedule. These come on Thursdays. So next week is going to be Thursday, 7:30 p.m. The 5 P's of a man of God. We're going to break down what they are. How do we apply them in our family and in our community? It's going to have a guest panel for that one, but that's going to be episode 240. The 5 P's of becoming a man of God, what they are, how do we apply them to our family and community. 241 will be 2 weeks from then. That'll be on the 22nd. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be real estate market talks in 2026. Bring people on who have a background in real estate. It's going to be a guest panel for this. It's going to be, what does the current market look like? What are the projections for this year? What does renting versus buying look like in 2026? And then what is needed to secure your first investment property if you're looking to go down that route? So a couple of people in real estate, excited to jump onto that one. And then, so we're going back to a finance one. And then 242 is going to be on the 29th of January. It's going to be a Thursday, 7:30 p.m. And this one's going to kind of go to the family side of it. It's going to be modern parenting challenges and tips to navigate them, featuring a guest panel of active parents, so mothers and fathers. This is going to be, so if you guys don't have kids and you want to understand what that's like, hey, this is going to be a good episode for that. Tune in. That's going to be on Thursday, January 29th, to kind of wrap the month up. And then 243, we don't really have that one set up yet, but that'll be, first week of February. It'll be episode 243. The topic is still to be determined, and there's guest panel. Here's the thing. I have all these set up. I might do an impromptu sports episode during the week or something as the Eagles move forward. We'll see what the Eagles do as the playoffs go on. But if the Eagles can get to the Super Bowl, first week of February is probably going to be that. That's what the episode's going to be. If the Eagles can get to the Super Bowl, we'll probably do a Super Bowl episode. And it's not even a probably, we'll do a Super Bowl episode here. If the Eagles get to the Super Bowl, it'll be first week of February. 243, that's what that episode will be. If they do make it into the Super Bowl. So that will be amazing. I really do hope the Birds can go there. Go Birds. That'd be sick. But that'll be 243. The topic isn't announced yet, but it's kind of up in the air. We'll see where we're going to be with that one. But guys, just want to say, first of all, Happy New Year too, guys. A lot of people started viewing like after I kind of made my opening comments, so I just want to say it's been a solid ride. This is year 6 of this podcast, which is crazy. And whether you're an OG viewer, someone who's been watching since September 2020, you're a new viewer, someone who came in the middle, I appreciate you. I genuinely do. It's the passion of why it's the why behind why I do this podcast. It's because I hear people reach out to me just randomly, and they tell me how, like, you know, they're proud of like how far the podcast has come. I just hear it from all different angles a lot of times, and it's like it's just at random times, and I'm like, okay, like that's cool. The connections that I've built through this, not just from the tri-state, but like outside the area, I've met people, been blessed. Me and George used to host this podcast together. I've met a lot of cool guests. We had a former Philadelphia Eagle on here before, Hollis Thomas. It's been a journey, I'll tell you. Like 5.5 years. This is like clockwork now. This is just built into my routine. Like it's just, and that's building habits, right? You know, who would have thought like 240 episodes later, here we are, like doing a podcast with literally 5.5 years later. Like here we are. We're still here. We're still doing it. And it just goes to show, guys, get out there. This is not to toot my own horn or gas myself up. Put yourself out there, because you know what? Like, a lot of people fear what other people are going to say. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I'm doing this podcast because I have a mission behind it. I know what I know. I know why I do this podcast, and I have my why. I don't really care. There's probably people that make fun of me for coming on the screen and talking. I don't really care. At the end of the day, you can't care, because you know what? You're not going to be able to impress. You're not going to be able to appease everybody. Just get out there, put yourself out there, and do it. It's the positive feedback that I love. I know that we're building something special here. But yeah, February 5th will be an Eagles episode if they get to the Super Bowl. So we'll see. But Happy New Year's, guys. Thank you all for your support. Another year with the Locked In podcast. Here we are. Guys, by the way, you can buy your gear if you guys want to support. I got a hoodie on right here. Locked In podcast hoodie. You guys can buy these. You can purchase these in our store. If you're on YouTube, there should be a link to our store. They sell these hoodies. Also, their shirts, hats, gear. Mario's got a commuter mug. Now, I think my buddy Joe's got a bucket hat. Somebody else I know got a beach towel. One year we used to do our giveaways in the summer. Guys, check out the store. If you want to go to my Instagram handle too. Let me take this down for 1 second here. 1 second. Guys, so there's my personal Instagram to the left there. If you see underneath, here, underneath where it says host. So it shows my personal Instagram, Ushman4503. And then if you see the podcast Instagram, it's the_locked_in_podcast. If you go to that page, you're going to see that there's a link to a link tree, and you're going to see all the links under there. Click that link, and then it's going to show you that there's a link to the store. So if you guys want to purchase any gear, appreciate it. We did have a Black Friday sale going on when Black Friday came around. If we have any other sales going on, I will update you guys like as we navigate. But even if you're struggling a little bit, let me know. I can get you a discount on some stuff, but always appreciate the support, because this is literally free word of mouth. Like this is free advertisement right here for me. Like this, I wear this and like I can get advertisement. Like people will ask, like, what's that podcast? I've literally had people ask me like, what's that? The Locked In podcast? Like, what is that? Like, you know what I mean? And then I've literally like give people the link to the podcast. Like, there you go. So appreciate your guys' support. Even if you don't buy anything, that's cool. You watching, you tuning in, you commenting in, you liking, subscribing. All that stuff really, really helps this channel out. So appreciate that. Mario commented and he said, fuck the haters. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Literally, that's the mindset that you have to have. You can't care who's going to judge you, who's going to talk there. You know what? It is what it is. Put yourself out there. Don't let other people bring you down. Here we are. We're 55 minutes. We actually almost made it to the hour mark, but I'm probably going to wrap up here, guys. Unless you guys have anything else. Let me see. Let me check Facebook. Franny, appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate the love, my brother. Oh, give me one sec. Joy said, great episode. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the support. That means the world. Thank you. Guys, it's been honestly, I don't know if it was gonna go almost a whole hour, but Facebook, I got some likes. No comments through Facebook. It is annoying. Meta is so annoying, like with like the whole Meta privacy stuff. I used to be able to throw your Facebook comments. For anybody who watches on Facebook, I used to be able to throw those comments up on the screen. Yeah, since they made the switch a little over a year ago, I think it was like 14 months ago, or it might have been 13 months ago. They switched around late last year, and it's annoying. Out of my hands, though. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. I tried to get workarounds. Haven't found anything. But still throw the YouTube comments up. Guys, I'm going to end it here for tonight. Just want to say, guys, happy first week of 2026. Continue to do you. Continue to be you. Continue to strive. All glory to God. My boy Zach, real quick. Yo. What's up, Steve? Zach, what's up, my brother? Yo, I want to tell you, man. Yo, your Broncos, man. You got to buy right now, man. I'm hoping to see the Eagles and the Broncos in the Super Bowl, brother. Zach, honestly, like I was just saying, like how I've been blessed to meet people on this podcast, like that aren't even in the area I live, like even the tri-state area. You're one of them, man. Like Zach lives out in California. Like we were able to connect through this podcast, so I appreciate you, brother. I'm really hoping for an Eagles Broncos Super Bowl, man. So, hey, man, if the Eagles and the Broncos make it to the Super Bowl, man, February 5th, we'll do that episode on that Thursday, man. Yo, if that is the Super Bowl, man, you gotta come on. You gotta come on, brother. We gotta talk about it. So, appreciate you, my brother. But guys, praying for peace, prosperity, good health. And abundance for all of you and your families out there in this 2026. Praying for you, the courage for you to face your goals, to face your failures, but at the same time, the self-discipline to really lock in and accomplish what you're looking to accomplish this year. I believe in all of you guys. It's just changing our behaviors, changing our patterns. We can all do it. Zach said, yes, sir. Blessed to meet you. Eagles vs. Broncos. Yes, sir. I'm hoping, man. That would be sick. But, guys, have a great night, great weekend, great first. This is, I guess, weekend number 2 going into 2026. But enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys next Thursday for episode 240. And like I said, that episode will be on the 5 P's of what it means to be a man of God, what they are, how do we apply them in our family and community. So that'll be next Thursday, the 15th at 7:30 p.m. Have a good weekend, guys. See you next week. Good night.